It's like you were here every year, like we got here yesterday, Hackett and I don't know the last time he was here, but it was like, you feel like you're here, like I just said, every year. Not much has changed. It's still nice and cold, but what's so cool about this city is you can kind of walk inside and get to where you need to get to. It's been good. What, here at the Combine? Just great collaboration, right? That's the whole point of this. That's what's been so cool about Monti through this whole process is just want great communication and great collaboration. So I had our first formals yesterday. I got a handful of them today. Obviously, what's new for me is Wednesday, Thursday, we have the early formals as well, and then the late. Usually it was just that 7 to what feels like 1 a.m. by the time you're done, and so it'd be nice to be able to hammer some out in the morning tomorrow as well. Yeah, again, each organization is different. I don't necessarily think there's a right or wrong, but anytime you get to be face to face with these potential guys that are going to be on your team, again, you have 45 formals. How many of those guys are really going to be on your team? But a lot of decisions need to be made to see which guys are good fits. So it's been, again, like I said, we had 5 yesterday. It's been a good process and good communication to start. Yeah, we reached out. I'm not going to get into the specifics of it, but he reached back out to me, and we'll keep it at that. Just like I'm going to keep all the conversations with everyone on our team, between us.
We'll get back to Cardinals head coach Mike LaFleur in just a moment, but I want to encourage everybody to hit that subscribe button for free. If you want exclusive NFL Combine coverage all week, and the Cardinals have a top 3 pick, this is the place to get it. I've got you covered. Also free daily videos all offseason long. So many questions, news, and rumors for the Cardinals that are yet to come. Who's going to be the quarterback? I will have those videos for you guys, as well as the draft coming up. Free agency is right around the corner. I will make videos on the Cardinals for you guys, again, totally free. And the more subscribers we get, the more videos I can make for you guys. Help me, help you get free Cardinals content all the time. And one thing I really pride myself on and this show on is making it interactive and informative. I want to hear from you guys. That's why I always ask you guys questions throughout videos to get your opinions in the comment section. So hit that subscribe button and let's go back and listen to LaFleur.
Well, again, I except for being in the building, I've been in this division more than, 7 years, right? 3 with the Rams, 4 with the Niners. 2 of those years he wasn't there yet because obviously he got there in 19, but a really good football player. He was always a problem. I know this. Again, I'm on the offensive side when I was as an offensive coordinator, but I know the defensive coordinators I work with, it wasn't a fun week for him, So a lot of respect for him as a player. Again, getting to know all these guys, not just him, as people a little bit more now that I've only been in it for 3 weeks here as an Arizona Cardinal. Yeah, tough, smart, and love the game. There's obviously a foundational, fundamental aspect. Like they got to have a baseline of talent, depending on what position. But are they tough? Are they smart? Like, can they handle what we're asking them to do? And do they absolutely love it? And, those are things that I do think in 18 minutes you can find out a little bit. Not all of it. I think the tape speaks for itself. I think your tape is your resume. But, again, you get kind of that next notch, I guess you will, through this process. And then when we get to our 30 visits and stuff like that. So if they have those 3 things, I think that's, fundamental.
When you talk about running back in this league, and there's a lot of back and forth over whether you should go after somebody high end or whether you can find them wherever, kind of where do you fall on that? When you look at this running back group that you have now on the roster?
No, that's a great question because I do think through experience I've taken it as they come in all shapes and sizes. You try to pigeonhole yourself into you need this 1 foot slash guy, you need this certain size, certain speed, and all that. And it's that one particular position, and in all of them. I mean, there's good football players in all shapes and sizes, but really for the running back position, through the years, I've really kind of taken to that. And again, if the tape speaks for itself and the guys are producing, and then you got to kind of compare it to the competition and all that, whether they're a free agent in the league, whether they're currently on your team or in college, that's part of that evaluation process. But try to keep an open mind and get the best football players.
That's such a smartest thing you were talking about. Where's the balance between figuring that out from your conversations with the guy versus what you see on the tape?
Yeah, totally. I mean, because there's sometimes where you can tell they're almost too smart and they overthink stuff, and so that's what makes each individual and each player unique in their own right, and so sometimes what they're telling you on the board, you're like, well, I don't see that on the tape, and then you end up getting in those conversations. So again, that's what's so fun about the evaluation process. That's why there's quite a few people involved, and then ultimately, it's up to the powers that be to make the decision to see what's going to fit for the 90, that you're bringing in. Yeah, I mean, again, being in this division and seeing a lot of these guys firsthand, I mean, there's a lot of fun pieces to work with, and you guys know who I'm talking about there. So, but like anything else, our job is to continue to add even more pieces. I mean, our job is to put even more pieces around a guy like Trey McBride to help him out. So again, a lot of cool pieces to work with in both phases, the run and the pass game. But again, looking to add as always.
Would you be open and embracing playing over the quarterback as early as this season?
I'm open and embracing playing the best quarterback possible for the Arizona Cardinals, and so we're still working through that process right now, and there's going to be a lot of factors that's going to lead into that. Yeah, and I think I'm still learning. I'm still piecing this thing together. The biggest key was for me in basically the first 10 days, just to say in 2 weeks, was put together the best staff possible, and then start to build relationships with these players, really just starting to dabble into foundationally what we're going to look like. Some of it's going to be based on, obviously, who we have around us and what our players can do. I'll know more about our players once we get into OTAs, and then really when you put the pads on into training camp and see where this organically goes. Again, I've said this on record a few times. We weren't sitting here a year ago or even in August or September saying we were going to be this heavy 13 personnel team in LA. It just went that direction for a couple different factors. Some with injuries, some with, our tight end room really kind of blossomed into a room that we wanted to get those guys out there. So there's a lot of factors. We'll end up having the foundational aspects that that myself and the other guys on the staff have taken from a lot of those coaches that are very successful in this league. But we got to make it our own. The Arizona Cardinals are going to be, not the same as all those other teams.
What have been your early impressions of Marvin Harrison Jr.? How do you go about maximizing his talent?
Yeah, what a stud of a human, first and foremost. I didn't get a chance when he was coming out. Obviously, we knew he was going to be a top 10 pick, and we didn't have one of those when I was in LA. So didn't really get a chance to get to know him. Just saw the player, and obviously the traits are the traits, right? I mean, you saw all the good stuff that I think we all saw. What's been really cool is getting to know the human, and hard for me to put into words other than just really excited to work with the guy. It was really cool when I came in for the first in-person interview. The first 3 people I saw were him, Michael Wilson, Trey McBride, and they were literally right when I walked in past security, the first 3 at the breakfast table getting ready to go work out. And I basically gave all 3 of them a hug and said, this is a good omen right here, and it doesn't mean much except for, they want to put in the work and they love this game, so excited to work with him. I know he's excited to get going with this thing and, be cool. John Harbaugh, I'm going to address his past with his dad, right? And so I'll use it with my parents. A lot of times a good coach, you look at the parents, and I think his dad was a heck of a football coach there. And my dad, I thought, was a pretty good coach, but my mom was even better, And so I think it starts there. He grew up in a football family, obviously, him and his brother. Just when you watch, whether it's live or you're watching TV, like we can all see what clean, tough football looks like, and I've always felt like that's what Baltimore Ravens have been, just clean and tough. And clean is not a bad word. It just looks right, you know. And so really excited for him to go into that market there in New York. I know he'll do a great job. I believe, I don't know the Giants too well, but I do believe they got a pretty talented roster, and it'll be fun for him. Who says he's a good head coach? I'll tell you this about Matt. He works his tail off. If he can find the 25th hour in a day, he'll do it. And he is authentically himself. He puts in the work. He's true to himself. He's willing to have the tough conversations. I do think he's a pretty dang good football coach, X's and O's wise. But more than that, it's what I just said. Say that one more time. I'm sorry. I've been in this for 3 weeks, right, as a head coach, but obviously been a coach in this league for some time with him. But it's probably a question better for him right now because, again, my focus has not been that we're brothers as head coaches. My focus was getting the staff together, getting to know this roster, getting to know these free agents, getting to know this draft, getting a scheme together, and it's just like you don't even have time to think about that stuff. Trying to, selfishly trying to get a house so I can get my, wife and 2 kids out here because that's an important piece of it as well. So if I've done anything outside of football, it's just put my thought into that to get them out there. Yeah, we're going to put them in the position to most be successful, and so I think that's foundationally what has been really neat about the systems that I've been in. The system that we'll run is who is the slot, who is the X receiver. They're all interchangeable, and you try to maximize however many plays, let's call it 65 to 70 plays a game. You try to make sure all 65 to 70 matter, and those guys are in the right positions at the right time, So we'll move them around just like we do all those guys, and again, have a better idea of that once we kind of get going into May, and then obviously through training camp to see where it's all going to fit. Yeah, no, you're right. It goes in the ebbs and flows, right? And who knows where this thing's going to go the next year. Again, I look at it like this, Connor, like how can we put the best 22 players out there in all the different, whether it's different personnel groups and we load up on receivers or tight ends and whatnot, it's how can we find the best guys, within, what I'm saying right there to go have success. Working with Sal is awesome. He has a unique way of just keeping things, and again, I'm not using this as a bet, like simple and efficient. He can, particularly as a defensive coordinator, but also as a head coach, like he doesn't have to say a lot to get his point across. And I think that's a true testament to him as a coach, as a defensive coordinator, as a guy that has had a lot of success on that side of the ball. So really excited for him to have the opportunity that he has in Tennessee. I think he's going to do really well.
Mike, somebody thinks, okay, you've got to have a couple of really prime athletes at the top of the draft. Can you find ways to make an offensive line if you don't necessarily?
Yeah, I've been a part of both. Let's go to the most recent. I think we. I don't know how you guys felt, but I thought in LA we had probably one of the better lines toward the end of the year that I've probably ever been a part of. And they stayed healthy. I thought they were coached really well by Ryan Wendell, the offensive line coach. I thought they bought into stuff, and by the way, they're very talented, and that kind of built organically a little bit. Some guys developed, some guys you paid, and stuff like that. So again, there's so many factors in where you're going to pour those resources. We got to figure out, again, how we put the best 22 out there on the field, where that money's going to get allocated, where those draft hits are going to get allocated, and then whatever we end up deeming that's the best, then we make it work, and we get to work with them, and we use what their strengths are, to what we're going to do. That's a good one. So obviously, I never. I never directly coached Schaub. I was on the Atlanta Falcons staff, but I was with the receivers when he came in 2016. I'm guessing Matt Ryan's here right now, but what a cool deal that was, for Matt Ryan and Matt Schaub that year, and he played a big part into the success that Matt Ryan had, and that's crazy to maybe say that, but just their side conversations, how they would take what Kyle and my brother were asking him to do schematically, and then really put it into quarterback terms, if you will. So always kind of knew from that time, and then just all the experiences before that Kyle had with him in Houston, that, man, if he ever wants to coach, I know Kyle's always tried to get him to be a coach there. It just didn't time up there. It didn't time up in Green Bay, but luckily it timed up for us. And when I got the call I actually got the call from my brother that Matt Schaub wanted to end up coaching, and it was like, wow, I just hit the jackpot, in that room. So it's awesome to have him.
Building your staff, you obviously opted for a lot of coaches who don't have a ton of NFL coaching experience, either because they're younger or just because they've got a ton of experience at the college level. Is that intentional, and kind of what really that?
Yeah, interviewed a lot of guys, talked to a lot of guys, whether it be directly or indirectly through people that we know. And again, I just kind of kept going back to this. Do they have great character? Do they have great capacity? College game is a little bit different, obviously, than NFL game, but when you really boil it down positionally, and you're not talking schematics, because we're talking more position coaches right now, can you coach one-on-one DB to receiver technique? Can you coach one-on-one D-line to offensive line technique? And the answer that I had was yes with these guys, because they are smart dudes and they are good character, And sometimes the way this thing goes with college, man, they've had a lot of interest, within other clubs in the NFL. It just hasn't been the right time yet. And, so I'm fortunate enough to grab those guys that I think are be really good fits for this league. Say that one more time, I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah, I said this, I think, at my presser. I got moved to safety my senior year at Elmhurst, and I had never played defense in my life, high school or anything like that. And so even though it was D3, to be able to sit back there in that lens from a safety really helped me out, particularly, early stages of my career. After that year in Elmhurst, I went to St. Joseph's College and called the pass game there, and then the next year was the full offensive coordinator. And I don't think I could have probably done that at a young age without having that experience there, getting moved over to defense. So loved it. I know it was helpful, particularly early in my career. Loved being there. A lot of cool people that were at Elmhurst. My wife, we all grew up together, but then she ended up transferring over there. So it's all net positive when it comes to Elmhurst. You're saying with a young quarterback? Yeah, well, first of all, young or old, it's the toughest position in all of sport, right? I mean, I'm sure maybe other sports would, compare and contrast, but I mean, to do what they have to do back there with 22 variables on the field and how fast things are happening. So, young or old, it's never easy. Some guys, it clicks a little bit, quicker, and some guys need a little bit more time, and that's okay. Some guys they don't have a choice. They get thrust right into it. Other guys, man, they already have a veteran quarterback that can take the reins for 2 or 3 years while that guy, learns. So a lot of factors into it, a lot of variables into it. The guys that are surrounded, what kind of scheme you're running, all those kind of things. The scheme can help, for sure. I mean, I think it's players and plays, not, players over plays particularly, So, again, you build that scheme, you'll have foundation aspects of what you want to do, but you'll build that scheme around what that quarterback can do ultimately and what he's comfortable with.